You need to hear what I'm about to tell you. And you need to hear it without the filter or everything you think you know about timing, about waiting, about what it means when life goes quiet. The moment you have been waiting for, the moment that feels like it's still out there, somewhere in the distance. It's not in the distance. It's right here, right in the middle of this exact second. The one where you are scrolling past things that don't matter. The one where you are half looking for a sign and half convinced it will never come. You are not waiting for permission. You are not waiting for the conditions to be perfect. You are waiting for yourself to catch up to what's already being set in motion. And that's the part nobody tells you, that the breakthrough doesn't happen to you. It happens through you. And you have been standing in the doorway of your own transformation for longer than you realize, staring at the floor, wondering why the door isn't opening. It's been open. Yeah, it's been open. The light's been spilling in. You just forgot to take the step. Just forgot. That's all. Think about the past 72 hours. Not the whole year. Not the big picture. Just the last 3 days. What's been happening in the margins? The little things that didn't quite make sense. The text you almost sent but didn't. The place you almost went but stayed home instead. Or the conversation you had with yourself in the car when you thought nobody was listening. That's where the real story lives. Not in the milestones, not in the achievements, in the moments you almost gave up and then didn't. Because you don't want to win. That's an uncomfortable truth. Nobody just wants to win. Nobody. That's surface level. That's what people say when they don't have the vocabulary for what's really going on underneath. What you actually want is for the weight to lift, for the waiting to make sense, for the part of you that's been holding its breath to finally exhale. And the reason you keep scrolling, the reason you are still here, the reason you didn't click past this is because somewhere deep in your chest, you felt something land. Something that said, this is for me. Yeah, this is for me. Remember that morning when you woke up at an hour that didn't make sense. That moment when the room was dark and your heart was pounding for no reason. For no reason you could name, even there is this reason. You cracked your phone, you checked your phone, you checked the doors, you told yourself it was just anxiety, just stress, just another night of bad sleep. But there was nothing else there. A kind of charge in the air, like the atmosphere itself was waiting, like something enormous was holding its breath right along with you. That wasn't random. That wasn't the result of too many cups of coffee or a thought you couldn't let go of. That was the moment your soul recognized what your mind hadn't yet accepted. That something was shifting. That the ground beneath you was about to move. And you felt it before it happened. Because you are not as disconnected from what's real as you have been trained to believe. You are not just going through the motions. You have been building something. You have been preparing for something. And the preparation doesn't always look like preparation. Sometimes it looks like, how should I say that? It looks like frustration. Sometimes it looks like boredom. Sometimes it looks like sitting in your car in the parking lot, staring through the windshield, wondering how you ended up here, wondering where the version of you that believed in possibility went, where it is. She's still here. He's still here, just buried under a lot of noise, under a lot of disappointment, under a lot of moments when you reached for something and your hand came back empty. You walked away from something recently. It might have been a relationship that was draining you. It might have been an opportunity that didn't feel right. It might have been a version of yourself you had been carrying around like a coat that never quite fit. And in the moment you walked away, something in you felt relief. Yeah. But then the second guessing came, the voice in your head or in your chest that said you made a mistake. The voice that said you should have stayed. You should have fought harder, should have made it work. That voice is not your intuition. That voice is the echo of every time someone told you you were not enough. You are not stuck. You are positioned. There is a huge difference. Stuck is what happens when you didn't or you don't know where to go. Positions is what happens when you have been placed exactly where you need to be. And the only thing holding you back is the belief that you should be somewhere else. You are not behind schedule. You are not running late. You are not missing the window. The window has been adjusting itself to your arrival, and you just got here. Look at what you have been carrying, the weight of it, actually. The way it settles on your shoulders when you are trying to sleep, to move forward. The way it shows up in the middle of a good day, unannounced, pulling you down for no obvious reason. That weight is not a punishment, it's a sign. It's the proof that you have been doing something real, that you have been in the fight, real fight, that you haven't been coasting. Coasting doesn't wear you out. It's the deep work, really deep work. The work that happens below the surface, the work nobody sees. That's what's been exhausting you. The invisible labor of holding a vision together when everything around you is telling you to let it go. You haven't just been surviving. You have been building in the dark. And what you build in the dark is always stronger than what you build in the spotlight. Because the spotlight lets you cut corners. The dark forces you to be honest. Forces you to be real. Forces you to ask the hard questions that nobody else is willing to ask. So think about the agreements you've made. Not the ones you signed on paper. The ones you signed in silence. In the moments when you felt invisible. That kind of. When you were passed over for something you wanted. When someone you trusted looked at you like you didn't matter. In those moments without even realizing it, You made an agreement. You said, maybe, just maybe, I'm not the kind of person things happen for. Maybe I'm the kind of person who watches other people win. And that agreement became a part of you. It became the architecture of your delay. It shaped what you reached for, what you believed you deserved, what you allowed yourself to imagine. And you have been living in that architecture for so long that you forgot you built it. You built it. You forgot you had the power to tear it down. But you do. You do, you really do. Right now, in this exact moment, you can take that agreement and you can break it. Not by trying harder, not by forcing yourself to be more positive, but by recognizing that the voice that said you were not chosen was never speaking the truth. It was speaking from a wound, and wounds don't get to define who you are. I'm a little bit nervous today, so you have been waiting for a sign, for something to move, for the phone call to ring, for the door to open, for the shift to finally happen. And in that waiting, you have been giving away your power, the power to move yourself, the power to take the next step even when you cannot see the step after that. Waiting is not the same as preparation. Waiting is what happens when you are not sure you deserve to move. A preparation is what happens when you are getting ready for what you know is coming. And you know something is coming. That's why you are still here. Yeah. That's why you haven't scrolled past. So, something in you is leaning forward. Something in you is saying, this time, I'm going to listen. This time, you're not going to let the fear of being seen stop you from stepping into who you have always been meant to become. The version of you that already exists somewhere in the future is looking back at this moment. The future version of you knows what happens next. That future version of you knows that this is the turning point, not the one you will look back on and wish you had taken. The one you look back on and say, that's where everything changed. The thing that's been blocking you isn't what you think. And that's a really important part. It's not the enemy. It's not the universe conspiring against you. It's not bad luck. It's not the timing. It's the part of you that's terrified of what it means to fully arrive. Because arriving means you have to show up. Yeah, to show up. You have to be present. You have to stop hiding behind the story that says you are not ready. Arriving means you have to take up space. And taking up space, taking up space is terrifying for someone who's been taught that their presence is too much or not enough. That their voice is too loud or too quiet. That their ambition is too big or too small. But here's the thing. The people who are meant to be in your life will not be intimidated by your fullness. The doors that are meant to open for you will not be blocked by your success. The world will not end if you finally step forward and claim what you have always known was yours. The world will adjust. Yeah, it will make a room. It always does, actually. And you don't need to know how it's all going to work out. Nobody ever does. The people who get to be to the other side of their breakthrough, the ones who look at and think they have it all figured out. They didn't have it all figured out either. They just moved. They just said yes. They just took the step even when their hands were shaking and their heart was racing and everything in them was screaming, wait, this isn't safe. Safety is overrated. Safety is the thing that keeps you small. Safety is the thing that makes you look back in 10 years and wonder where the time went, where and why you didn't take the risk when you had the chance. You are not supposed to be safe. You are supposed to be fully alive. And being fully alive requires risk. Requires discomfort. Requires the willingness to be seen, to be wrong, to be uncertain. Think about the most alive you have ever felt. Tricky question. It was probably the moment you were most afraid, the moment you jumped, the moment you spoke, the moment you didn't wait, the moment you decided that the fear of staying the same was bigger than the fear of change. You can feel that again. Not someday, right now in the next few minutes, in the next few hours. You can make a decision that changes everything, not because you suddenly have all the answers, but because you have enough clarity to take one step, just one. Enough courage to stop pretending that staying small is working. Enough self-respect to honor the person you have been becoming in private. That person, I love that person, hasn't been hiding. That person has been getting ready for exactly this moment. The moment where you stop scrolling, stop waiting, stop hoping, I think stop wishing, and start moving. I want to say there is nothing wrong with you. Let that land. There is nothing broken that needs fixing. There is nothing missing that needs finding. You have been carrying everything you need since the beginning. You just needed permission from yourself to use it. And the permission was never going to come from outside. It was never going to come from a parent, no offense, who didn't see you, from a boss who overlooked you, from a partner, lover who couldn't hold you. The permission had to come from you, and you know that already. And that's what this moment is. It's the moment you give yourself permission. Permission to be seen, permission to succeed, permission to be exactly who you have always been, without apology, without explanation, without waiting for someone else to tell you it's okay. So there is a reason you woke up this week with that feeling. There is a reason your heart has been beating a little faster when you think about the future. There is a reason you have been feeling like something is about to shift. Because it is. Not because of luck, not because of coincidence. Because you have been preparing for it. Every sleepless night, every moment of doubt, every time you felt like giving up and didn't. Every time you showed up for yourself when nobody else would. That wasn't for nothing. That was the building of something. That was the architecture of your becoming. And the becoming is almost complete. You don't need to force anything, and that's important. You don't need to make it happen through sheer willpower. You just need to stop getting in your own way. Stop blocking the door you have been asking to open. Stop telling yourself you are not ready when you have been ready for years. Stop shrinking back into the person you used to be just because it feels familiar, feels safe. Familiar isn't the same as safe, actually. I'm going to correct myself. So, and sometimes the most dangerous thing you can do is stay in a familiar prison because it feels less threatening than an unfamiliar freedom. Freedom requires letting go of the walls that have been holding you up. Freedom requires trusting that when the walls come down, you will still be standing. You will. You are stronger than you know, stronger than the version of you that was built in the moments of pain, stronger than the agreements you made when you didn't know any better, stronger than the fear that's been whispering in the background, telling you to stay small, stay quiet, stay invisible, yeah. You are not invisible anymore, and you never really were. You were just waiting for someone to notice you. But the noticing doesn't come from outside. The noticing comes from within. The moment you notice yourself, the moment you recognize the value of what you have been carrying, and the moment you stop looking for someone else to validate what you already know is true, that's the moment of everything changes. That's the moment the door swings open. It's not because the universe suddenly decided to cooperate, because you decided to walk through. I love you so much. Think about the things you have been waiting to do but haven't done. The things you have been waiting, wanting to say waiting for permission to say but haven't said. The things you have been waiting to become but haven't allowed yourself to imagine fully. What's stopping you? Really? Is it external? Is there actual someone standing in your way? Or is it internal? Is it the voice that says you cannot? The voice that says you're not enough, not ready? The voice that says it's too late? That voice is not you. It's a collection of echoes. Echoes from the past. Echoes from people who didn't know your potential. Echoes from moments of pain that were never resolved. And echoes don't have power. Don't have power unless you give it to them. I think it's time to take it back. Not gradually, not eventually. Now, in this exact moment. The power to decide, the power to move, the power to change the trajectory of your life with one decision to act as if the future you want is already here. Not because you are pretending, because you are living from the truth of who you really are. Not the fiction of your fear. And the truth is you are capable of more than you have allowed yourself to believe. The truth is the limitations you have been operating under are self-imposed. The truth is you can have what you want, not because you are special in a way that nobody else is, but because you are willing to do what most people will not. You are willing to feel the fear and move anyway. You are willing to be uncomfortable. You're willing to show up as the person you have been hiding from. The person you have been hiding from is waiting. They are waiting for you to catch up to them, to step into the life they have been living in the future. And the gap between where you are and where they are is not measured in time. It's measured in action, in one step, in one choice, in one moment of courage. So you are closer than you think, closer than you feel. The struggle you have been going through has been the sharpening. The difficult seasons you have been haven't been taken away from your ability. So they have been adding to it. The very hard conversation, every disappointment, every time you didn't get what you wanted. That was the building of resilience, the building of character, the building of exactly what you will need for what's coming. And what's coming is not the struggle. It's the breakthrough. Yeah. It's the moment you look back and realize that everything you went through was preparing you for the thing you are about to step into. The thing that seems too big for you, the thing that makes you nervous, the thing that feels impossible, that thing is the next level. The level you have been climbing toward, the level you are ready for. Not because you feel ready, but because you have done the work, the unseen work, the work nobody applauds, the work that you had to do alone. Now you're not alone, not in this moment. The moment is the moment you realize you never were. You were always being held, always being guided, always being led toward exactly where you need to be. The detours were not detours. They were the path. The delays were not delays. They were the timing. The disappointments were not the end. They were the redirection. And the only thing left for you to do is just accept it. Accept the invitation, accept the calling, accept the next step, and take it. Your time is now, not later, not when you are more ready, not when you have more money, no, not when you are less scared. Now, at this exact moment. You already have everything you need to take the next step. And the next step is all that's required. Just one. One step that says, I trust what's inside me enough to move forward even without a guaranteed outcome. Yeah. One step that says, I'm done living small. One step that says, I'm ready for what's coming. And when you take it, you will notice something shift, not just around you, within you. The part of you that was holding back will let go. The part of you that was waiting for permission will realize that permission was never needed. The part of you that was afraid, really afraid of being seen, will step into the light. And you will realize that the light is exactly where you were always meant to be. You were not made for the shadows. You were not made for the sidelines. You were not made for the life you have been settling for. You were made for this, for the moment when everything clicks into place, for the moment when you finally stop running from who you were always meant to be. And that moment, my beautiful soul, that moment is not in the future. It's now. It's always been now. Now, yeah. So stop scrolling. Close this. Look up, look around, take a breath, and know you are exactly where you need to be. And it's time. Yeah, it's your time. Your time.